And John, I know the other John. Where are you, John? So you asked about meditation, and nobody raised their hand about having trouble. Because see, did you catch it in the 3 minutes? See, we go into the gap every week, and people just, we're meditators. Are we not meditators? So show up for the workshop and let John have that experience of you deepening his experience of meditation, because it's beautiful when the whole room is involved together, right? It's just so sweet. May I see? Okay, Mother, may I be sure? May I see? May I see what this is going to turn out to be? Wow. Let's start out with the C part, divine vision. Divine vision. Every time I think about vision and C and treatment and stuff, I think about my own treatment for my vision. Remember you telling me about that? I treated because my eyes were going bad. I started wearing glasses. I started with the hundreds and then 75s, then with the hundreds, and then that wasn't working. I went, oh gosh, if I go to 125, I'll be on 150 before long. 175. Oh my God, I won't be able to see. Let me start praying for better vision. Lord, give me better vision. I see, I claim, I accept, I declare better vision every single day. I know that the Holy Spirit delivers it to me now, and so it is. And about a year later, a friend of mine said, God, Steve, you really catch it, you know? You're so intuitive. You're so aware. You seem to see things before they even happen. I bought me some 175s, but I had turned into an empath, you know? I had some great vision. We must be very specific when we do our treatment work. I now treat for a better eyesight. See, there's an art to pray, there's an art to treatment, but there's also an art to life. And the big art to life is to catch the vision, to catch what our vision is for our lives. May I see, may I see. And remember when I talked about the first week, May? The archaic use of may was to have power. I may do it. I have power, you see. So may I see, I have the power to see. I have the power to catch my vision for my life, for where I'm going to go and move forward in my own experience of life. And then the power in that is we have the ability to make it real. You see, we are the expression of God made manifest on this universe, on this planet, at this time, in this place, so that we can make real the visions that we have. The ideas that we have. Remember last week ideas? See if I can remember myself. Imagination, determination, expectation, affirmation. We have the idea, we have the imagination. Do we have the determination to expect it to come to our lives and the affirmation to make it real in our lives? See, Spirit's gift to us has been to put this vision within us. Our gift to Spirit is to make it real, is to make it happen, to do what we envision for ourselves to do. So this week, this talk, it's about, are you living your vision? Are you going in to the deeper stuff of life? And are you doing it from a space of being so present to your life that others want to model the joy that you experience in life? See, if I yawn and do it really well, some of you may yawn as well. There was an episode of Luther. Did anybody watch Luther? No? Luther. Right? Well, there was this first episode. He was like in this room doing an interrogation, and he yawned, and the person he was interrogating did not yawn. And he was like, he did that to see if this person was actually a psychopath or not. You know, are they going to be able to do it? It's like laughter too. When somebody laughs, you tend to laugh, you know? And so that's like the attraction, not promotion. I don't have to say laugh. I could just laugh and then you start to laugh. I don't have to say yawn. I could just yawn and you might yawn too, you see? And this is the same thing about how we outpicture in our lives. If we're doing our best. Like when Kelly was singing that song, I kept thinking, I got 3 lessons from Sherry, and this other friend of mine, Darlene, gave me a couple of singing lessons. I need to get on my singing lessons because I want to sing like that. And it can be holy now. Oh, that last part, that was like, yes, I want to do that. And I wanted to do it not because I woke up this morning thinking I wanted to sing. It's because she did it so well, I thought I'd want to do it. Attraction, not promotion. Some of you who go to those meetings rooms that are found in the encyclopedia, no, in the phone book, like near the front of the phone book, you know that word, attraction, not promotion. Yeah, in the phone book. At the front of the phone book. What's a phone book? What's a phone book? Ask your mom. She remembers phone books. But this idea of having vision, having imagination, it never stops. We never stop having this. It's always, in fact, Dr. Holmes talks about this. He says, creation is the passing of spirit into form. The passing of spirit into form, and is eternally going on. You know what eternally means, right? It ain't stopping. There's nothing you can do to stop it. That's why we go into the meditation moments, because the brain is so busy, we have to train it to take some pauses so that we can see the deeper truth that's awaiting to arise within us. So we can go down below the surface and remember the deep ideas that keep coming and coming and coming, wanting to arise and wanting to arise. But it takes stepping out of the normal bounds. It takes coloring outside. Coloring books are so popular now. Have you been to Barnes & Noble lately? You know what Barnes & Noble is? It's a bookstore. They still have one. There's 2 bookstores, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. That's just crazy. Amazon has just done everything. I ordered something from Amazon in the morning, and it came that afternoon. It's not even next day anymore. The drone just dropped it on my front porch. Crazy. They're going to open their own stores? What's wrong with them? Don't they know somebody's going to open up an online service and beat them at their own business? But thinking outside the bounds is really powerful, really powerful. Anybody ever suffer the doldrums? Do you know the doldrums? You guys probably don't know the doldrums. You all are so happy. Your life is so great. You meditate. You got great lives. You come here just to hear me talk about my problems, right? I get it. Well, sometimes I get the doldrums. And you know what the doldrums are? Hey, here's your weather class for today. The doldrums is the intertropical zone of the oceans where the currents come together, and it creates this calm atmosphere where there are no winds. And sailors used to totally freak out when they get into the doldrums. This is part of why they thought the world was flat, because the wind would stop, and they go, we must be at the end of the world. There's no more wind. No, they were just at the doldrums, the intersections of the intertropical convergence zones coming together. And as a result of that, they had a hard time getting to their lands that they wanted to discover, because there was no wind to light up the sails, right? So this one very industrious captain, always thinking outside the box, decided he would load up in his hull of his ship a bunch of horses. And when they hit the doldrums, they loaded the horses into the water, and they tied them to the boat, and the horses swam until they swam past the doldrums and back into the winds again. Outside the box thinking. This is what our visions, this is unlimited possibilities are waiting for us. When you think you've run into a deadline, dip below the surface of your thinking and go a little bit deeper. You want to know how wonderful it is to go dip below the surface? Go to Catalina. You're all going, Catalina? The glass bottom boats. You been to the glass bottom boats at Catalina? Whoa, is it beautiful down there? Thank you so much, Peg. Because you watch Luther and you went to the glass bottom boats. And you're like you and Wally are the only 2 that raise their hands. I love that. The oldest. I don't think so. You got some competition in the front row. Almost front row. But the glass bottom boats. I love you. Yeah, you gray-haired woman. Yeah, she is. Yeah, and got me some sage this week, some beautiful sage and an owl feather. That was wonderful. Thank you for that. Where was I? Glass bottom boats. The beauty that you see through the glass bottom boats that you can't see if you're just looking from the surface. You got to go down below the surface, and there's beauty there waiting for you. That's the whole idea behind the glass bottom boats. And we all have the glass bottom boats. We all have the depth that allows us to reach down into something that is so much more beautiful. But it requires us to trust that lovely word, the total reliance upon spirit. Totally. thorough reliance upon Spirit, totally trust. See, if we trust, then we can take the walk home to Spirit and know that there's that presence within us that's allowing us to bubble up from the surface, from deep within to the surface, something incredible, something magnificent, the catch, the vision of our lives. May I see. May I see. Now, what happens when we forget? Here's what's going on. Meister Eckhart, love him. Here's what he says. He says, God is at home. Home, right here in the heart, right? It's we who have gone out for a walk. Right? We are the ones that get out there separate. We take ourselves out of the picture. We're the ones that leave home, that step out. But God's always waiting for us to return. The door is always open, and the gift is always ready to be received and always ready to be given. But we must make the conscious choice to receive. We must zero in and focus on that vision and quit being so widespread. There are times that widespread is fine. If you're using a hose and you're misting your garden, that's nice. That's widespread. Okay, no problem with that. I get it. It makes sense. You might think you're multitasking when you're widespread, but you're really not. That's a myth. There's no such thing as multitasking. You know that, right? The brain can only do one thing at a time. It's really multi-switching is what you're doing. You're switching from one project to another, and that's why you're scattered. You know, multitasking, forget it. Single focused, that's the way to go. Don't be a hose spraying a mist. Be that straight stream from the nozzle, the one that can peel the paint off of the, you know, right? The one that we used to be able to use when they thought we had a lot of water to do the driveway. You know, now they got the to do the same thing. Whatever happened to just a broom and a rake, right? And it's good for the muscles to rake and sweep, but okay, off my soapbox. Okay, my next thing says, be aware of mixed messages. That is so crazy. Spirit is like talking to me in my own talk. But we should be aware of the mixed messages. This is a serious point. Mixed messages, mixed ideas, mixed up focused thought, unfocused thought. That's dangerous, man. That's like, I came up with this a long time ago. A mixed message is like circling the airport and never landing. You eventually will run out of fuel. Then you'll crash. Nature will fill the void of your mixed message. Nature will fill the void because nature doesn't want a void. And what will it fill the void with? Since you're not focused, since you're like a mist, it'll just give you the law of averages, like what everybody else is getting. Okay, a nova. I mean, you know, you don't get you're not going to get the Maserati. It actually was a Maserati, not a Lamborghini, for those of you who were here for the car talk about. It was actually a Maserati, not a Lamborghini. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But nature will fill the void if we do not have the focused thought. We must be like a spray with our thought. But at the same time, we must have patience. We must have patience. We must allow grace to come into the picture. We must realize that we may not get it right the first go round. That's why we treat and we treat and we treat again until we get it right, you see? Because if you overwork it, if you work too hard at it, stress yourself out, you will get sick. How many of us have been sick and thought to myself, okay. Yes. It's happened quite a few times. These cracks are bothering me. There you go. It happened a few times where I know, it's crazy, isn't it? And they took my favorite show off the air. I really got to watch Monk. I really need some Monk. You know, I need my brother who understands me, you know? So I'm there laying in my bed. I'm sick. You know, because I forgot I could heal myself. And then I realized I'm sick because I am healing myself because I was working too hard. I wasn't listening to my body. I was just stressed out, overworked. We can make ourselves sick, and our body will say, you better rest. Right? So we don't want to overwork it. We must allow ourselves some patience, some timing, and some grace. Mark Nepo, love him, Book of Awakening. When we push ourselves to unfold faster or more deeply than is natural, we thwart ourselves. Don't thwart yourself. That's so painful. I thwarted myself. No. I'm going to take some time. In fact, I'm going to plan a vacation. Have you planned your vacation for 2017 yet? Thank you. One person. Oh, two, three. Okay, good. Oh, good. Yes. Okay, great. I want everybody by next week, have planned your vacation. If you haven't already taken it, if you've already taken one already this year, take another one. But this idea of making sure that we have some time so we don't burn out, make ourselves ill and stressed out is so important. It's so important so that we can see. Because a lot of times it's on your vacation when you see the futility of the things you've been doing and the things you've been trying to be. And you realize, whoa, there is so much more to life. Some people have to take vacation for 6 months. Felt like 6. I guess that means we missed you a lot. We're really happy to have you both back. Yeah. So when we're giving ourselves the patience, when we focus on our thought, we're giving ourselves the grace to allow that vision to unfold, to be the careful unfolding of that vision. The next thing is to figure out what is right. What is the right thing? What am I actually catching? Because sometimes it feels a little dark. Sometimes I'm not actually sure. And at that moment, I got to go into my spiritual practice. I got to listen deep within to what's stirring within my soul, because my soul has the answer. But I must get quiet enough. Back to the meditation. I must get quiet enough to allow that soul vision to arise, to know what is my heart's desire. Again, spiritual practice, treatment, meditation, affirmation, contemplation, sharing with another who has the same soul thought that you have, that same energy that you have. And then allowing yourself to move through what may be a particularly dark time. I'm thinking about a guy named C.R. Patterson. He's a black man, about 1905. He had a vision he was working for a buggy company, making buggies for horse carriages, But he had this idea that they didn't need to have a horse. There was technology developing. He thought, if I could put one of these new motors that I'm hearing about in this buggy, then they don't need a horse. And his son, he passed on, but his son held on to that idea. A son named Fred held on to that idea. And he finally did put an engine in a buggy in 1907. And they had 150 of these Pattersons on the road before Henry Ford put his first Model T off the factory floor. But it was a dark time for him. He didn't get enough capitalization, so he couldn't spread his numbers of cars. But check it out. Do your Google search. Fred Patterson and the Patterson from Greenfield, Ohio. 150 cars on the road by 1915. He listened to the soul stirring. He knew there was something there. He stayed with it. He had some patience about it, but he moved forward and allowed it to unfold. Mark Nepo says, however much we have done, at the end of the day is more than enough. Whatever we have done, at the end of the day, it's more than enough. It's the dream becoming truth. Be happy with how far you get and know that another day is coming for you to go a little bit further, one day at a time. Easy does it. Let's not stress about it, but have the faith and the trust to know that the vision that we hold for ourselves will unfold and will become a reality in our lives as we stay focused on that mission. And don't get the mixed message with the big misty view. The nozzle spray, think about that. Allow that to take place for you. There's these two kinds of vision we have. There's the sight vision, which allows us to see it completed. There's the car. It's rolling. It's off the line. But before that, it was the imagination vision. And the imagination vision is that one that taps into infinity. It's the one that taps into ultimate, unlimited possibilities. And we can get into that space. Then we're opening up to where we're going to see something that's a joyful creating coming forth to us. I used to love building models. I was talking about this last night. I was thinking about this talk last night. And I was thinking about a model that I used to build, that I built one time. And this morning, when we were on our way, there it was, driving down the street. It was a Jaguar XKE. And this model, it was like as big as this thing. It was like this big once it was completed. It was so much fun to build. Every little piece, every little part. My dad and I, we painted it all up. And there was this vision of what it was going to look like, right, in our imaginations. And then, boom, there it was, complete in our eyesight, where we could see it. Same thing with sand castles. I love going to the beach, doing sand castles. I'd get down there, man. My back would just be all sunburned because I'd be out all day long building a sand castle and the roads and the city and bridges and all kinds of stuff. This vision, And in seeing the vision complete, something else unfolded. I used to make these road things and everything, and then they came out with the Hot Wheel tracks, and there it was. I had the same thing. I had the same kind of roads that I would build in my sandcastles. Now I had tracks that I could do them for real at home. My imagination became real. It was so interesting. I was thinking about my mom, who used to cut these angels, these paper angel dolls, and she'd cut them open, and then she'd spread them out, right? And one day, she used a shorter piece of paper, so when she finished cutting it, instead of having a string of them, she only had 3 of them. And this is what happens when you live out your vision and you go through a process. Check this out. She took this one that she made, and there were only 3, and she just dropped it onto the table, and it fell onto the table in a little triangle. And she thought, wow, if I put a piece of glass on that, that would be a table. That was the birthing of her company called Zini Furniture. She created furniture out of these angel drawings, and then she'd have these frames that you could put tables on. Pretty soon you'll see one of them in my office, because I'm going to bring my desk in and make it out of one of her table frames. See, there is, within all the things that we create, another idea waiting to unfold. When the desert got all of its rain this year, and just popped up. How many of you saw the poppies this year? The poppies were incredible up in the high desert this year because of the rains that we had, And the desert takes all that moisture in, and it holds it until just the perfect right time. It kind of captures the idea, and then it bursts forth. Dr. Holmes talks about this a little bit in the thing called You. He says, making the most of its brief season, it blossoms in joy, storing within its bosom the seed of a future flowering. He was talking about the desert when he wrote that, But all of her ideas do that. When my mom made those little angels, it had within the paper angels the seed of a future flowering. Her company, Zini Furniture. Within the things you complete, you look back at it, and there's a seed of an idea waiting to unfold from it. This is a beautiful process that we have as we allow ourselves to see it. May I see it? And once I see it, there more may unfold from it. So what is your vision? What are you capturing? What are you waiting? What do you have the power to see? What has been within you that hasn't quite come out yet? And we all have it, because there's this eternal creativity taking place within each and every one of us. It's always unfolding. So this week, give yourself some time to see. And so it is. Okay, here it is. Are we ready? All together? Inspired by divine vision, I see unlimited possibilities and consciously choose what's right for me and the world. And that next part's really important, because what you hold is perfect and right for you has benefits to the entire world. We are not here in a unified experience of life to do something just by ourselves. So this is our prayer time. Thank you, Dee. And so we're going to share in a collective vision of prayer. I'm going to be the mouthpiece for all of us, but we're all going to step into this prayer. So I ask you right now to search your heart, search your consciousness, and think, realize, know the truth for yourself or someone else. And if you know a person that you'd like to have prayer for at this moment, I'd love to hear that name out into the room, make that name real, tell the universal presence who it is and what it's all about and what you're asking for. Let's hear that now. Oh my goodness. I've got God bumps on me right now, my friends. I feel the presence right here in this space, in this place. I actually feel a healing taking place, because I heard in that shared prayer moment right there of realization, a name spoken from a heart that was opened up to a place of truth and understanding, forgiveness and acceptance. Oh my goodness. Manifestation is taking place right now, my friends. We are unified in this consciousness as we speak this word of truth and recognize that the healing that's going on has already taken place. And we are simply that space that allows it to take form in life itself. So what we are praying for today is already known in the mind of God, and by us making it true in our own individualized expressions of life, we allow it to become real in the physical form. Real in the form of right relationship, real in the form of harmony among friends and even those that think they are enemies. It allows healing, perfect assimilation, elimination, and circulation throughout the body temple. It allows for prosperity and abundance and the relaxation of concepts around lack and limitation, knowing that the only limits are those that help us to be more healthy and more full in life, and there is no lack. There is simply the idea of enough and exact. And so I hold these truths as the gifts of Spirit given to each and every one of us in the exact proportions necessary for the most full and complete experience of life itself. As I speak this word of truth, I rely on a spirit thoroughly, with deep trust and full faith in the ideas coming true and through the law, to which I release this prayer right now, and so it is.